Hello everyone, welcome to the 3D market commentary for today. Today is February the 15th. And let me just put the disclaimers up there on the screen. There they are. So please read them. They're on the top left-hand corner. Even if you need to pause the video to read them, please do that. Now, the 3D market commentary, for those who don't know, is a video that we do every day, Monday to Friday, to accompany and give more context to an email that we send out every day, Monday to Friday. Now that email is sent out to our free members and it has information on major world markets looking at three major components. So we'll look at that in a second. Before we do so, just to highlight where you can go for some support. So you have Becky at tradewithufos.com, so you can email me if you need. There's also support at tradewithufos.com, so you can email those guys if you need. There's then this link here, which is tradewithufos.com/Becky. So let me just bring that up. There it is. From here, you can get different apps and platforms. You can scroll down and book one-on-one coaching if you'd like to. But if you scroll down a bit further, you can log in for free and you can ask questions in this area. Now, you might find that somebody else has already asked the question you want to ask and the answer is already there. Or it might be that you're doing somebody else that favor by posting your question here publicly. We can then answer it here publicly and we all learn from this same area together. Okay, so let's take that away and let's have a look at this email. So we send this out every day, like I said, Monday to Friday. And just to highlight, just close that. Don't know why it does that. There we go. Every day, Monday to Friday, we send this out and we're looking at three major elements per each of our major markets that we look at. It's essentially looking at what are the statistical probabilities that we have in these markets. So the first thing is what we call market climate, the upcoming market direction. Where is that market likely to go? Up, down, or nowhere? Now we use technology to help us with everything. And for this, we use an app called AutoClimate. Now, AutoClimate is a free app on most platforms you can get it on. And what it does is it shows us where the probabilities are likely to be in the form of these coloured dots. So if you ignore the lines, focus on the dots. If we had a thick blue dot, that tells us probabilities upwards. If we had a thick red dot, that tells us probability is downwards. And if we had a thin dot of either colour, that tells us probability is in neither direction. So we'll look at AutoClimate per market to see where the probabilities lie. We'll also look at what we call buy and sell UFOs. Now, UFOs in this context stands for unfilled orders. Now, what does that mean? It means that in the market, we have buyers that are waiting to buy and we have sellers that are waiting to sell. We want to know where they are. So again, we use an app to help us. It's called Auto UFOs. And with that, it will show us where the buyers and sellers are. So these little green UFOs with the prices on the right-hand side show us where the buyers are. These little red UFOs with the prices on the right-hand side show us where the sellers are. So we'll look at that per market, and then we'll look at market volatility, which is how quickly we expect these markets to move. So starting with the S&P 500, which is the top 500 US stocks, let's take a look at where we're at with this. So the S&P 500, top 500 US stocks, by the way, we're looking at a daily chart of each of these markets. So the time frame we're looking at here is a daily chart. We have a thick red dot, which is probability to the downside here with the US stock market. Now we have sellers up here between 4671.75 to 4606. And we have buyers down here at 4123 to 4055.5. So overall, we are slightly closer up here, slightly closer to the sellers, but not really close to either sellers or buyers. They're unlikely to have an impact on the market today. What is more likely to have an impact on the market is the climate, showing us probability there to the downside. Now, in terms of volatility, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year on the US stock market by 30.98%. So in a day, that's 85.33 points. In a week, 187.84 points. And in a month, 391.02 points. Again, that's movement either up or down within those time periods. So that's the S&P 500, top 500 US stocks. Moving on to the next market, which is oil. Before I do so, just to point your attention here to the different courses that we offer. We do courses in futures, stocks, forex, backtesting, trading plans, and psychology. Most of our courses come with a 3-month complimentary access to the apps. So AutoClimate, which is this app down here, is a free app on most platforms. You can get it on anyway. But Auto UFOs, which is this app here, showing us the buyers and sellers, this is a paid for monthly subscription. Depending on which platform you use, depends on what the cost for the subscription is. But in most cases, we offer a 3-month complimentary access if you purchase a course. So what that means is you can subscribe for the UFOs directly if you want to. You don't have to do a course. But more often than not, if you do a course and get 3 months for free, it's actually cheaper than it would be to just do the Auto UFOs by themselves. So hopefully that makes sense. But check it out, see what works out best for you. Now, coming back to our markets now, looking at crude oil. So with crude oil, we have a thick blue dot, probability upwards. We are overextended, but we've been overextended to the upside for a long time now, and nothing's been changing. So probability is up, but just bear in mind that we're overextended. So not as many probabilities as we'd like, but still overall probability up. We have buyers beneath us here between 91.74 to 88.41. Now price came in, hit these earlier on today and was pushed up from there. That's what we expect buyers to do, is push price upwards, and that's what those buyers are doing. That's why we want to know where they are so we can get a better idea of where price is likely to turn from. So overall, probability up there with crude oil. In terms of volatility, we'd expect that crude oil would move up or down in 1 year by 47.44%. So in a day, that's 2.78 points. In a week, 6.13 points. And in a month, 12.76 points, either up or down. That's crude oil. Then we have gold. So that's the next market, which is gold. And whilst that's loading, just to point your attention down here towards our coaching and support. We offer a lot of coaching and support for free. So you can go to that link that I showed you at the start and go and search for questions. You can email us. You can watch a bunch of our recorded videos on YouTube and other platforms. We also have a closed coaching community, which is a small monthly fee to get access to more features. So if that interests you, check it out. But otherwise, like I said, we do a lot for free anyway. Now, coming back to gold, let's just squidge this down so we can see our sellers. We have a thick blue dot, which is probability there upwards. We have buyers here between 1815.8 to 1788.5. We have sellers up here between 1962.5 to 1938.4. Overall, not really close to either of the buyers or sellers for them to really affect us today. Overall, probability there to the upside coming from the climate on gold. Now, with volatility, with gold, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year by 17.81%. So in 1 day, that's 20.82 points. In a week, 45.84 points. And in a month, 95.42 points, either up or down. That's gold. Now, the next market is the US dollar. Here we are. So with the US dollar, we have a thick blue dot, probability upwards. We have buyers here between 94.645 to 93.865. They've already worked in the way we would expect. Price came down, hit the top of those buyers and went off from there. That's what we expect buyers to do, is push price up. That's why we want to know where they are. So it gives us a good idea of where we might be buying from. We have buyers down here, then we have sellers up here between 97.44 to 97.05. Again, in the middle of both, unlikely for either of those stacks of buy or sell orders to affect us today. So overall, probability coming from the upside here on the US dollar. Now, in terms of volatility for the US dollar, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year by 8.09%. So in a day, that's 0.49 points. In a week, 1.08 points. And in a month, 2.25 points, either up or down. Okay, so last but not least is backed Bitcoin. Now, as I load this, just to point your attention here towards our top platform, top TOP stands for Predictive Options Planner. Now, even if you're not an options trader, is a great platform to use to help with analysis of a bunch of other markets. But specifically, if you are an options trader, it's got very specific tools that really help. So I would check that out specifically if you're an options trader. Okay, so with bakkt Bitcoin, we have a thick blue dot probability upwards. Now, we do have sellers very close by, between 47,610 to 45,705. Now, they already worked before. Price came up, hit the sellers pushed price down. That's what we expect sellers to do, is push price down. That's why we want to know where they are so we can have an idea of where we might sell from too. So what we have at the moment is probability upwards that's coming from the climate at around about the same place that we have probability downwards coming from the UFO. So what we have is a fight going on. I don't know about you, but I choose to keep out of fights. Let whoever's going to win, clear a path one direction or the other, gives us a better idea of what to do. For the time being, we've got conflicting information here on Bitcoin, so I would leave it alone here, at least on a daily chart. Now, in terms of volatility for Bitcoin, we would expect movement up or down in 1 year by 104.64%. So in a day, 2,784.17 points. In a week, 6,129.07 points. And in 1 month, 12,758.67 points. Okay, so we have looked at 5 different markets, and for each of the markets we've looked at a daily chart and we've looked at the probabilities associated with those markets on that time frame. We've looked at market climate, which is using AutoClimate to help us figure out where the probabilities lie for the upcoming market direction. Is it likely to go up? And we see that from a thick blue dot. Is it likely to go down? We see that from a thick red dot. Is it likely to not really go either direction? And we see that from a thin dot. So we've looked at that on each of our markets. We've then looked at buy and sell UFOs. Where do we have buyers that could push price up? Where do we have sellers that could push price down? And what are the prices that are relevant to that? And we looked at volatility, which is how far we expect these markets to move within given periods of time. Within 1 year as a percentage, and then within 1 day, 1 week, or in 1 month in terms of the amount of points we would expect that market to move up or down within those time periods. Now, the last thing to look at is our weekly economic calendar, which we get from fxstreet.com. We filter by high impact news because we want to know which scheduled news reports are likely to have an impact on the markets that we trade. So today being Tuesday, we've already had some news that's come out on the British pound and British markets, and on the Euro and European markets. We do have later on this evening, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, we have some news coming out that might affect the Chinese yuan or the Chinese markets. So be aware of that if you trade in China or if you trade Chinese markets. Otherwise, nothing until tomorrow. Early hours of the morning tomorrow, US time, would be information on the pound that might affect you. Okay, so last place you can go for any questions is tradewithufos.com/Becky. By going there, you can get different apps and platforms from up here. You can book one-on-one coaching directly if you'd like. If you scroll down, you can log in for free and you can ask questions in this area that allow us to answer them there, and then other people can learn from it. Or you might find the answer to your question through here anyway. All right, guys, so have a great rest of your trading week. I'll be back on Thursday, so I'll see you then. My colleague Bojan will be taking it tomorrow and Friday. So I'll see you in sessions upcoming. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week and take care. Bye-bye.